Alright, welcome to my Mortal Online Beginner's Guide. I do have a series called Quick Tutorials that I made during the Steam release of Mortal Online. I myself first came to the game during the Steam release. I've been in game for 2 weeks at this point, and I've learned a lot since I made those tutorials. I joined a very good guild and have access to a lot of resources and information, and I wanted to share that. And today we're going to be making a horse archer as my final character in this account. And my main is this guy here, Avenoma, and he's what's called a hybrid. He actually wields a spear and shield, and I just happen to have an axe on him because my last spear broke. But as a hybrid, he has access to most of the magic skills, both offensive and defensive. And his job on the battlefield mainly is to heal, corrupt, and purify. And those are things I'll get into in later videos. This guy here is my butcher / armor crafter. And this lady here is actually going to be my herbologist alchemist. And I'm actually going to have to re-roll her because she currently is a slag hauler, which means she mines rocks for minerals, ores, and refines them and other materials. But today we are going to be making a horse archer. So let's get into that. And these are all the races you have to choose from. The armor butcher that you saw on the left hand side of the screen is one of these characters, and they are the best for things like armor crafting, weapon crafting, and other various crafters because they have high intelligence and high strength. They're the armor crafters and the weapon crafters. Strength and intelligence is the two main attributes that are utilized. My main character is one of these guys right here because they have the highest dexterity. In the hybrid build, you want to be as fast as possible, so you don't as a pseudo mage, because once you start healing you get targeted as a mage. They see you healing and you will get attacked very quickly. So being as fast as possible is great benefit. Having high dexterity and being elf-like, you would think that they're a good bow class, but they're actually not, because they have low strength, and to wield the best bows in the game you have to have at least 110 strength, and they don't come close to that. So they'd be good for things like thieves, dagger characters. You probably also make a pretty decent mage out of them too, because it would be really good to have high dexterity and be able to get out of the way once somebody spots you as a full-on mage. But I'm not too familiar with people running them as mages. They also probably wouldn't make bad crafters like herbologist / alchemist. I'm actually probably going to make my alchemist out of one of these characters because they're going to be running around all over freaking the continents, gathering flowers and stuff, so I probably want to be as fast as possible. These guys, the humans, I personally will never make a human because I'm not going to be a mage, and they are the best mages in the game. And I don't know of any other specs that are humans personally. I've only heard of them as being mages. These guys are the crafters, and these guys will be your heavy fighters. Your anything from horse archery, which is what I'm building today, to mounted combat, to foot fighters. These are the guys that are the strongest because they have the best mix of dexterity and strength. You can make foot fighters out of any of these guys. Like if you want a foot fighter that has high resistance to magic, humans would probably be a good choice, and these guys might be a good choice too. But the problem with these guys is they have low dexterity, so they're not going to be very fast on the battlefield. But let's go ahead and get rolling on our horse archer, and I'll explain these stats a little more in depth. And this is your lineage tree, where you can pick where what your father's parents are and your mother's parents. For this particular race, the father's lineage is actually locked, but the other races you can actually choose them all. But for the Horse Archer build, we're going to be doing Curite. And the reason for that is we want 110 strength as our maximum strength so we can wield the highest bows. There are other combinations here. The mounted, if you're going mounted combat, this is actually the exact same build. You want to go Curite. Now for the heavy foot fighters, there are other combinations that give you higher strength, and that's what you'd be going for. Now, I do have access to all most of the popular builds. Obviously, they do change from update to update, patch to patch. So the builds will change over time. But I do have access to the newest builds for any particular kind of fighter that you want to do. Now, there are specific builds that if you join a PvP guild, they're going to expect you, if you say, I'm a foot fighter, I'm a heavy foot fighter, they're going to expect a specific build. So if you make a character and the stats are off a little bit, they're going to want you to re-roll. So please leave a comment and ask me what a specific build is for something. If you're having trouble finding it on the Mortal Online forums, I'll be happy to help. I have plenty of resources when it comes to that. So we're going to be going Curite, and you'll notice that the stats will start changing. Every time you choose a new part of your lineage, the stats will move up and down. And today we're going Curite. And these stats down here are actually the maximum stats that you can achieve in game. They're not going to be your starting stats or anything like that. For this particular build, I'm going to be maxing out all three of these, and I'm going to be dropping the starting stats for Psyche and Intelligence so I can get extra stats to put into these three. Now, you'll notice that I wanted 110 strength, but his strength is only 109, and that changes with age. Every character starts off at age 18, and you'll notice that down here his strength is increasing, his constitution is increasing, his dexterity will increase too as you go along. But as you get past a 26, it looks like, yeah, they will start going down. Intelligence will start increasing with age, and Psyche will start increasing with age, but all three of these will start going down. So if you're going to be a magic user, you want to keep that in mind, and I will help you out with the specific age if you're having trouble finding what age you need. You'll notice that the intelligence starts going up, and you also want to keep that in mind when you're doing crafters too. Because almost all the crafters, probably all the crafters require intelligence, but different crafting requires a second stat too. It doesn't require it, it just boosts the ability to do it better and quicker. Example, armor crafting is strength and intelligence. So for this particular build, I'm going age 22. Now, see how his dexterity starts dropping? I want the max dexterity. When I go up to age 26 and I get that 1 strength, that means nothing, because the strongest bows are 110. So I'm going to stick it at at age 22 so I can get the maximum dexterity out of it and the minimal strength to wield the best bows. Now the size will increase your damage bonus, but it takes out of your raw attribute pool. So someone might be watching this video and say, well, why aren't you going to go to size 200 to get the highest bonus? Well, for this particular spec, it's actually 180, because if I went up anymore, I couldn't max out one of these stats. And for this build, you want the highest of these three stats. And once you get into game, you start off, you have a small attribute pool here, which means nothing, because you can increase and decrease. You can actually decrease your stats in combat while you're in game. It takes time, but it'll happen. Not too long. But when I start out, when I make my characters, I normally do strength and dexterity so I can carry around as much as I can. and be as fast as I can. Most times I'll actually just do full dexterity so I could run around as quickly as possible, as soon as possible. But I'm going to be hanging out in the starter town for a little bit and doing some horse taming. So I want to be able to farm a little bit, get some money, and carry as much as I can. So I'm actually going to go 40 strength here. And once I get in the game, these are going to be my starting stats. And these numbers will be what I can get them up to. But I'll never be able to get the psyche and intelligence up that high. So what I'm actually going to do once I get into game is I'm going to start decreasing them. And I'll do another video about stats in game at a later time. So once I get into game, I'm going to start decreasing my intelligence and psyche down to 10. And that will give me my full pool to reach these stats right here. And that's about all I have right now. There are other mechanics like there's actually a weight mechanic where you can eat fattening foods and get fat and increase your strength, but it drops your dexterity. Or you can starve yourself a little bit and you can get lean and it'll increase your dexterity but drop your strength. And those are other things. I'll get into it later in later videos. And I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Any questions, comments, concerns, please don't hesitate. I do have a lot of resources, and I will help anybody who needs help with a specific build or just general chat about the game. And I do thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in game.